The most orange man alive made the following tweet, and people around the world, cryptids, are trying to discover exactly what he possibly could mean by this one. I'm not exaggerating. There was an entire, think piece on CNN discussing what could he possibly mean by this tweet. Now, I am no decipherer of codes, so I'm just gonna leave it up to you if you could figure out what he possibly could mean by this. Now, for Iran, the clock is ticking, and they better get moving fast, or there won't be anything left of them. Time is of the essence, President DJT. Now, the actual truth is that this is more true than any of you realize. They are drowning in their own poop right now. They are flooding oil into the sea because their oil refineries are all backed up and overflowing because they can't actually get anything out because they are absolutely, irrevocably, irreparably fucked. They are so cooked. The blockade has cooked them. They are overflowing in oil that they cannot contain, and it's going into the sea. It is an absolute nightmare, and they are flailing, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking: Trump and Netanyahu, that's Big Jew Yahoo for those of you paying attention, just spoke for 30 minutes by phone. Netanyahu immediately entered a limited security cabinet meeting after the call, per Ynet. White House reporters have been called to an unknown event on the South Lawn. What could this possibly mean?
Reportedly are weighing whether to restart military action against Iran. Mr. Trump calling this moment the calm before the storm. Fox Business correspondent Ashley Webster reports live from Tel Aviv. Ashley.
Yeah, hey there, John. I think it's true to say that the air of expectancy has been cranked up a couple of notches here in Israel today. As you mentioned, President Trump talking with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier this evening. They reportedly talked for about 30 minutes, and then shortly after that, President Trump taking to social media to tell Iran that, yep, time is running out. Time is of the essence, he said. But with a stalemate still in place, Netanyahu...
Calling this a stalemate is such a massive flub up of what's actually happening. Right? This quote-unquote stalemate is they are drowning and gargling in their own blood and literal fluids, all right? While we just basically sit there and reap the rewards of every country wanting to buy our oil instead of Iran's. All right? This quote-unquote stalemate is absolutely devastating.
Netanyahu holding a
donkey fuckers across the Middle East crying and in shambles over this, by the way.
Security cabinet meeting tonight with top military leaders and advisors to discuss the next move. All of this coming as reports claim the U.S. and Israel are making intense preparations for renewed attacks against Iran. The Iranian foreign minister, meantime...
Oh my God! That means terrorists might die. Heartbreaking news. Heartbreaking news. Hassan Piker losing it. I hope he doesn't lose too many of the people in his audience when we kill more Ayatollahs.
Says another attack makes no sense if the U.S. and Israeli military have already, as they claim, destroyed the country's nuclear...
I love that these people are so fucking retarded. They're like, but why would you even do it? You said you already destroyed our military. Don't worry. Don't worry. There's more dog fucking rapist pedophiles that we could kill, and we could do it for the love of the game. Don't you worry about it, homies.
The facilities. Listen to this.
These contradictory statements truly indicate the depth of America's confusion regarding their objectives.
The confusion. Yes, we really don't want a regime that's going to continue building nuclear weapons. Yes, the goal was obliterating your Navy, your Air Force, your missiles. We've done all of that. All right. And also making sure that you will never have a nuclear weapon. So we are going to continue killing your leaders until you actually have a leader that's willing to suck the glorious orange cock of America. All right. And until that happens, we are going to keep killing you, actually, because you have been waging war on us for 47 years and the clock is ticking. Tick-tock. Tick-tock, terrorists. Blow yourselves up or we'll do it for you. And that's the game. All right. So all these guys like grandstanding, like doing, oh, but America doesn't even know what their objectives are. Yeah, our objectives is killing the terrorist regime. If you refuse to surrender, we will just help you along. We'll get you to your virgins in hell very soon.
This war.
So Iranian state TV also has been showing video today of government supporters, some receiving defense.
That's right, baby. We're going to get fat old women in hijabs holding assault rifles. That'll definitely stop the United States Air Force. This is how you know how fucked they are. They're like, oh, we're armed and ready to go. Show a 60-year-old woman, baby factory, out here with a fucking assault rifle. Oh yeah, bro.
Fence trading inside of mosques, weapons and all.
Yeah, Donald Trump is so confused. He just has no idea what he's doing when he systematically obliterated our entire Air Force, Navy, missile facilities, nuclear sites, and economy. He's just flailing around in the dark. Bro's hoping to hit gold as he annihilated 2 generations of our leadership. Currently, the leader of Iran is a comatose homosexual ayatollah. All right, let's not worry, bro. And they're trying so hard to make it sound like they're actually putting up a fight. Look at this. This is incredible.
And all. And one Iranian had a more direct message for Donald Trump.
Wow.
Listen to this.
Trump, you cannot take the Strait of
Where's your husband? Is he dead? Rip Bozo, I guess.
Hormuz from Iran. I have come to destroy you.
I have come to destroy you, says a goat-fucking pedophile rapist holding a shotgun. Yes! That'll work. It'll work, guys. It'll work. It'll work.
So with the Strait still blocked to shipping, authorities in Abu Dhabi say a drone attack caused a fire close to...
Yep, and we are getting there. This is massive right now, by the way.
Yeah, Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks is live in Tel Aviv. I'm sure he's got more for us. Trey?
Yeah, guys, good morning. We do start with some breaking news out of the UAE, where officials say that a drone attack against a nuclear power plant caused a fire.
Hey, do any of you guys wonder why we don't mind that the UAE has a nuclear power plant, but we actually very much don't want Iran to have a nuclear power plant? Any of these retards that like saying, you're a hypocrite. Do any of you actually understand? It's simple. It's because the UAE enriched uranium to 2% to use for civilian needs. Iran enriched uranium to 60%, which is only used for weapons, and they're directly stating their goal is to destroy us. Therefore, the UAE is our friend, and we don't mind, and Iran is not our friend, and they're gonna fucking die. All right? Now, I want to make this very clear. Winning wars is based, actually. Yes, it is not hypocrisy when our buddies have nuclear power plants, but our adversaries get killed. Actually, that's based. All right? I'm tired of people being like, you're okay with Israel having nukes, but you're not okay with Iran having nukes? Yeah, Israel's not nuking us. Iran wants to. Yes, actually. That's not hypocrisy, all right? We want to kill our enemies, actually.
At a generator on the outskirts of the facility. This is a significant attack and likely conducted by the Iranian regime. It comes as tension continues to rise across the Middle East as the region waits to see if the war will resume in the days ahead. So far, efforts toward...
But I was told that the Iranian Islamic regime, they just wanted to fuck camels in peace. They didn't actually want war or anything.
Diplomatic solution with Iran have been unsuccessful, with officials in Tehran unwilling to make the necessary concessions to reach a deal.
Oh, well,
President Trump spoke on his return flight from China, indicating he didn't like the first...
How could you be celebrating the deaths of people that are trying to kill you and raping children? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My purity test failed you.
Sentence of the Iranian response to the U.S. peace proposal.
I looked at it, and if I don't like the first sentence, I just throw it away.
Hey, Mr. President, I don't have time for that. I gotta call Netanyahu. Sorry, bro, it's over for you. Now, Cuba, all right, another one of the tentacles of largely China, the communist retards in our hemisphere. Cuba acquired more than 300 military drones and begins discussing plans to attack Guantanamo Bay and U.S. military vessels, according to Axios. Cuba is discussing striking Florida, Guantanamo Bay, U.S. vessels, after acquiring 300 military drones. It would be fucking retarded, because that means we want to obliterate the shit out of them. Just to be clear, if they actually do this, it would probably be one of the dumbest fucking military moves in recent history. I say one of the dumbest, because October 7th is probably the dumbest military move I've ever seen in my life. All right, a couple of goat fucker pedophiles decide to kill some Jews, and now all of a sudden there's no more Hamas, no more Hezbollah, no more Houthis, and no more Iran. So realistically, that was probably the worst move anyone could have done. This would be the second. And it's honestly shocking that they're even considering this, because in my opinion, I think they know they're fucked. They know that we're going to overthrow their regime inevitably. So they're like, at least let's go down swinging. Or this is a lie. Now, I am not going to just sit here and mindlessly believe everything the media says. This could actually be a lie. This could be a CIA op, because we know that CIA people were in Havana, Cuba over the last couple of days. I think it's very likely this is CIA manufacturing consent for war. Now, I personally don't need them to manufacture consent. I consent already. I fully consent overthrowing the communist dictator in our backyard that's been, you know, fucking with us for years, and also oppressing their people. I consent to the Don Roe Doctrine, just completely controlling our hemisphere completely and not allowing these communist tentacles to oppress people in our backyard. So my consent does not need to be manufactured, but I think other people's consent does. So this could potentially be a CIA op lying to you. And the only reason why I say that is because I assume these people aren't fucking retarded enough to try to actually bomb Florida. Now that is the mainstream media, and that's what they're saying. Now Hassan Piker, with his wit and political analysis, has this to say: Cuba has never been a threat to the U.S. This guy just loves sucking communist cock. It's crazy. Like, has this dude never heard of the Cuban Missile Crisis? Remember they had nuclear-tipped missiles, medium-range missiles from Russia they were planning on using on us? Remember that? What are we even doing here? Like, this guy just lies. He just openly lies to you, and then just makes you exist. He just lies to you. He expects you to buy it or not. They use weapons to manipulate you. All right. Cuba has never been a threat to us. All right, that's the first sentence, and it's a lie. Second sentence, its only threat was being a successful alternative. Cuba is a shithole. People are dying and starving in Cuba because of communism. Like, he thinks that the reason why we're attacking Cuba is because Cuba is better than us. It's because communism is just superior to capitalism, and we're just fucking jealous. We're jealous of the Cubans that are starving and fucking eating each other out of hunger while they're being thrown into gulags for speaking up against their government. Like, this is absolute insanity. A country that fought and won its own sovereignty and dignity. You know, honestly, we're a country that fought and won our own sovereignty and dignity. Like, what are we doing? But he hates America. We starved them, and that never stopped. They starved themselves because they have a shit economy, because communism never works. Between this and the New York Times funding piece, we are manufacturing consent for war. No, the consent's already there. Cuba is adversarial. It's in our domain. It's in our hemisphere. It belongs to us, whether they like it or not. We are the United States of America. The people of Cuba want us to help them and liberate them, literally. This is the most ethical war we could possibly do. And also, it's fucking awesome for us, personally, on a personal level. It's good for the United States to not have a fucking adversary in our backyard flinging shit at us every 2 days. This dude is just a straight-up anti-American communist apologist and loves terrorism. All right, it's unbelievable that this guy exists. Now, Trump and the Nigerian army eliminated a top ISIS leader who attacked Christians. In my opinion, this is charity work, and I fully support it, by the way. The way I see it, I pay a metric fuck ton of money to taxes, and then they take that money and abort babies with it. So I would much rather be aborting terrorists in the Middle East that are massacring Christians than aborting babies, personally. So whenever I see my tax dollars going to help actual oppressed people, not like the retards that continue starting wars and losing and Palestine, but bro, this shit is actually real, and it's insane watching it. The U.S. Nigerian forces conducted a joint military operation inhibiting Abu Bilal al-Minuki, senior leader and second in command of the Islamic State, ISIS, globally. And this dude has been actively singling out Christian Nigerian villagers and churches for executions and kidnapping to fuel their Islamist propaganda. Thank fucking God he's dead. That's right. Killing him is awesome, actually. And I'm really tired of making believe it's not. Oh my God, but he violated the sovereignty of another nation. Fuck yeah, he did. What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna cry? You're gonna maybe bitch and whine? Oh, but he violated international law. I don't give a fuck, bro. International law is fake and gay. Oh, no, how dare you do something objectively awesome? No, please! A piece of paper said that it's bad. The terrorists voted, and they all said that you shouldn't be killing terrorists. Wow, I'm really glad the terrorists got a vote. Just in, U.S. military strikes additional ISIS targets in Nigeria. Based, by the way, killing terrorists is fucking awesome, and don't let the communists trick you into thinking it isn't. Now, Mexican senator linked to the Sinaloa cartel was arrested in San Diego. All right, these fuckers are in our country for some reason. Finally, the FBI is actually cracking down on extradition and arrests of foreign terrorists, including an Islamist terrorist, in our country. Quite literally, get them the fuck out. I'm told desperately that we need to defund these agencies, all right? But this is like news every single day right now.
a remarkable effort by our FBI, Director Patel leadership, and our international partners. And we were able to intercept and get in the middle of this man's attempts to wreak havoc and terrorize not only the United States, Canada, Europe. And so we were able to introduce an undercover working with our law enforcement partners. So I think what our U.S. attorney just said is dead on, that President Trump's leadership around the world allows us to have the credibility and the partnership to allow us to work with folks overseas. And that's what happened here. So he was brought here and appeared in court this, earlier today. And it is on the one hand, should be very alarming to the people in this country that there are men around the world trying to exact this sort of terror. On the other hand, it shows the success of good law enforcement work and good police work and working hard to protect our borders.
Dude, every day it's like, thank God Trump is president and not Kamala Harris. All right, I'm not even kidding. This is insane. Which is
what we do every single day. And so this investigation is ongoing. It's just a complaint. I expect the next steps will be an indictment, and obviously we're still investigating and going to make sure that anybody that was involved with him will be brought to justice as well.
Was he picked up in Iraq, and when was he brought to the United States?
He was recently brought to the United States. I want to be careful talking about the operation so I don't put anybody in danger, but it's enough to say that this was an effort that included not only the FBI, but our law enforcement partners overseas as well.
Yeah.
Just understand, this is an Iraqi terrorist in retaliation for the Iran war, targeting Americans and Jews in the United States of America. Islamist Mohammed al-Saadi plotted multiple violent attacks across America, primarily on Jewish locations, previously responsible for plotting nearly 20 terror attacks abroad, and this motherfucker is in custody. Now, this is so weird, because I really don't see a lot of Americans just murdering random Iranians in the streets, or Jews murdering random Palestinians in the streets, but I do see a lot of Islamists just trying to murder Americans and Jews. That's so weird. It's almost like their ideology is literally a death cult. Now, I'm not saying every Muslim's a terrorist, but every terrorist is a Muslim. No, I'm kidding. Joking. Today, Ukraine launched the largest attack on Moscow since the Second World War. This is insane, by the way. This is Moscow, literally the capital of Russia, getting absolutely cooked. Holy shit. Large Ukrainian drone swarm struck the city of Moscow. This is wild. All right, so Zelensky actually made a tweet about it. Our responses from Russia's prolongation of the war and its attacks on our cities and communities are entirely justified. This time, Ukrainian long-range sanctions reach Moscow region. We are clearly telling the Russians their state must end the war. Ukrainian drone and missile manufacturers continue their work. I am grateful for the security service of Ukraine and all the defense forces of Ukraine for this precision. The distance from Ukraine's state border is over 500 kilometers. The concentration of Russian air defense in Moscow region is the highest. We are overcoming it. Glory to Ukraine. This is actually insane. Holy shit, dude. The obvious commentary here, though, is this means that they're really not trying to end the war. What are they even trying to accomplish with this? Look, I'm not being like such a bitch about it, because realistically, I think that Russia's invasion of Ukraine was cruel. A lot of people say it was unprovoked. I think that's a lie. Everyone knows that Ukraine was trying to join NATO and build missile defense systems around Russia and stuff like that. So saying it's unprovoked is not true. But at the same time, this massive invasion, they took 20% of Ukraine already. Tens of thousands dying. You know, Zelensky keeps talking about how he wants peace. My guy, this isn't going to get you any closer to peace. Russia has so much superior firepower. They will continue. It will only escalate from here. And the reality is, while I am supposed to be writing a check to Ukraine to save lives, these guys are just escalating the war forever. I, for one, am tired of America being on the hook for every single global war. Whether it's Ukraine or Israel or anything, I do not want to be handing out infinite money to other countries so that they could do their shit. Not my responsibility. I want to be out of NATO. I want to be out of the UN. I don't want to do with any of this shit. I care about America. All right, let's be real. Sure, I care about all this other stuff too. I'm going to be honest, but there's so many conflicting agendas. It's like, what am I supposed to do? So I will absolutely support Trump obliterating some Nigerian terrorists trying to massacre Christians, because that's objectively good. Close the book. We did something fucking awesome. Moving on. But wiping out Iran or Venezuela or Cuba, it's absolutely within our interests. I support it. Giving $350 billion to Ukraine to supposedly end a war, and both sides are just going to escalate it forever because no side wants to give up on what they expect to gain. It's just like, why am I writing this check? No, just putting that out there, because a lot of people are like upset when I criticize Zelensky, and they're like, yeah, but he's the victim. I'm like, yeah, he's the victim. You're right, sure. But he doesn't want to end the war. That is fine. I'm right, and I'm paying for it. All right, I am paying for a war that he is not trying to end, despite the fact that he's losing. All right, I'm sorry, man. That's where I stand. Never come between a Jew and his shekels, all right? Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine is using free cash for a few minutes here and there. If I'm gonna play games as a time sponge, I might as well make some money out of it. Free cash is a fun and easy way to earn real money by doing simple tasks while already on your phone. Play games, complete surveys, do simple tasks, and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I've been enjoying playing Call to Dragons on free cash, a high payout strategy-based building game. You get instant payouts with a really easy process through PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now, back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally supports the channel, so if you could click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated. Now, one of the major Trump nemesis, all right, in the Republican Party is Thomas Massie. And Thomas Massie, he's having his gigantic giga election tomorrow. Will he remain in Congress, or will he be primaried out? We will see. Word is Rand Paul, Low, and Borbor, two very difficult and very unreasonable Republican voters. All right, now in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, which I won by 31 points, parading around like fools for the worst Republican congressman in the history of our party. His name is Thomas Massie. He's disloyal, ungracious, and a sanctimonious fool who almost never even votes for the best Republican values. The man running against Massie, Ed Galrain, true American patriot, a farmer from Kentucky, a military hero. He is loyal and MAGA all the way. Vote for Ed Galrain. Wipe away the stench of one of the worst congressmen in the history of our great party, Thomas Massie. May we never have to deal with him again, President Donald J. Trump. Now, I see a lot of Massie defenders whenever I criticize that guy in my comment section, and I want to let you know, Thomas Massie has been slandering Trump as a pedophile for the last year. They said that it's the Epstein administration. He never votes on anything that wants border security at all. He is a mass migration voter. He claims to be America first because, well, at least he doesn't want to fund foreign wars, but he wants to import literally the third worldists into our country. He works with the Democrats to destroy Trump and his credibility, and honestly, fuck him. Get him out. J.D. Vance explains back in the day why he was against Massie.
I think the problem with Thomas, and I've told him this in private, and now I guess I'll say it in public, is it's one thing to disagree with the party on a particular issue. It's one thing to take, to have your independent stand on a number of questions. And by the way, some of the stuff where Thomas Massie has been independent against the Republican Party, I've agreed with him with. Thomas and I worked together during 2023, where I was trying to stop the limitless flow of American money to Ukraine, and Thomas was one of the people I was working closest with it.
And Thomas is against sending money to Ukraine, which I agree with. I'm for it, actually. However, he is a radical libertarian. He's like, I don't want to send my money to Ukraine. However, I want to bring in 1 million Indians to do job for better prices here.
But that's one thing. Being independent, having your own opinions is one thing. Voting against the party on every single issue, you're eventually going to make too many enemies.
That's right.
And that is the problem that Thomas has had. It's not one issue. It's not 3 or 4 issues.
That's right.
It's that every time that we've needed Thomas for a vote, he has been completely unwilling to provide it. That is why the President of the United States has trained his ire on Thomas Massie. It's because we can never count on him for some of the most difficult votes.
Yep.
I wish that weren't the case. I say that as somebody who's known Thomas well before I got into politics, but politics is politics, and when you always vote against the party, you can't expect the party to actually back you.
And he's just completely correct. He's completely correct. Why should the party bend over backwards for Thomas Massie when he backstabs them every step of the way? Now, a lot of people are immediately taking the line that, oh, well, AIPAC endorsed the other candidate, not Massie. Now, Massie is against all foreign funding, which includes Ukraine, which includes Israel, which I agree with, by the way. I also don't want foreign funding. However, so AIPAC, obviously, the American Israel lobby, is fighting against Massie also because they want infinite money to Israel, which I disagree with, which is why I don't like AIPAC. I am way too Jewish to be giving money to the Jews, okay? So people are already pushing this narrative that the Jews are buying this election. Now, let's look at what the Jews have been doing, all right? Let's see. Is it the Jews that's forcing Massie to vote against every single standalone immigration bill? What's going on? All right, this is a secure border, D-. Massie was watching tens of millions of illegals flooding into the country under Biden, and he was like voted against H.R. 2 to strengthen border security, blah, 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 blah. All right, what about this one? Refugees and asylees voted against H.R. 2 to reduce asylum fraud. Massie voted against it to stop asylum fraud. I'm sorry, man. That is the #1 issue plaguing our society right now, and we need to stop it immediately, ASAP. So, of course, new all-time high. Ed Galrain has a 58% chance to defeat Thomas Massie. This is massive, by the way. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, Israel is rigging the election, which is unbelievably stupid. They both get funding from foreign countries. Thomas Massie's biggest supporters are Pakistani Muslims, all right, and Iranians. They are all pledging and funding his campaign, all right? So while there's foreign lobbying absolutely on both sides, and I'm against foreign lobbying, I fucking hate it, man. I really hate that we have foreign countries having a say in what we're doing in our own country, man. The reality is, it's the Trump endorsement, all right? That is what's destroying him. It's the Trump endorsement, all right? Ed Galrain is finally picking up because we're close to the election, and Trump has been dropping straight fire on his ass. And also, look at who's endorsing Thomas Massie. Cenk Uygur, communist Muslim mass migration, pro-Islamic terror, all right? It's a foreign government trying to control our Congress, spending millions of dollars against anyone who dares to stand up for America instead of Israel. We have eyes and ears. We see them trying to buy our government. Thomas Massie is coming on the Young Turks. Thomas Massie is going on the Young Turks, a radical pro-Islamist leftist talk show to fight for his position in Republican Congress. Like, do you see who's supporting this guy? Ken Klippenstein, by the way, who's a radical communist, right? Thomas Massie's opponent, Ed Galrain, is running a ghost campaign. He did no interviews. He skipped all debates. It's impossible to find out anything about the guy. No, he's evil and bad. We have to have Massie win. All right, let's see who's endorsing Massie. Code Pink, all right, so they are the jihadi, the trans jihadis. Rouhana, all right, foreigner, Islamist foreigner guy. New York Times, great. Hassan Piker, Mother Jones, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Summer Lee, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. Wow, what a list of glowing endorsements, ladies and gentlemen, for Thomas Massie. You almost wonder why people aren't voting for him. All right, bad Congressman Tom Massie voted against tax cuts, the border wall, our military and law enforcement. Actually, he voted against almost everything that is good. The worst Republican congressman in history. Kentucky, vote the bum out on Tuesday. We can't live with this troublemaker for another 2 years. He is a true negative force. President DJT. And you know what? He's right. So when Thomas Massie loses on Tuesday, don't forget to vote. You could thank the Donald, all right? Everyone's going to say that Israel's buying elections and shit because this guy's anti-Israel and he's losing an election. But it has nothing to do with Israel. It has to do with the fact that the #1 most popular person in the United States of America, bar none, with the most sway and the most impact, has been campaigning against him every step of the way. All right, the Donald also posted this one.
What happened to Thomas Massie? When did he decide to start voting with the radical Democrats? Massie voted against President Trump's tax cuts. Massie voted against finishing President Trump's wall. Massie even voted against Trump's ban on taxpayer-funded sex changes for minors.
Bro.
I don't think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander. I think he should be voted out of office.
Let's fire Thomas Massie. MAGA Kentucky is responsible for the content.
Right, so you're going to tell me that these campaigns by the President of the United States is going to have zero impact, but a couple of Jews spending a couple of $100,000 on an election, which, by the way, millions of dollars are being spent on this election by all cases for both parties. Yep, that's what's going to do it. It's not going to be the glowing endorsement of Cenk Uygur, all right, whose nephew says America deserved 9/11. It's definitely not that guy that's going to get hardcore Republican boomers to vote one way or the other. You are coping, my friends. These guys are shaking because they realize that Donald Trump has a stranglehold on American politics and has had this stranglehold for 10+ years now. They're shaking and they're scared because all of the campaigns, all of the psyops, all the anti-Iran war propaganda, all of the Epstein propaganda, literally all the fucking shit that they've been shoveling amounts to fucking nothing, because this super well-known guy is going up against Ed Galrain, who basically no one knows, but just the Trump endorsement is going to flip this shit on its head, and they can't stand it.